begin in a second. Hopefully. All right. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday, July 15th, 2021. We are so excited to be back here with Office Hours. I am Heather Cox with my wonderful colleagues. Victoria, I'll turn it to you.
Hello, I'm Victoria Dean. I'm a Teams Tech Specialist.
Go for it, Garrett.
Garrett Chandler, EU Tech Specialist.
And hey, everybody, I'm Stephanie Stevens, Modern Workplace Specialist. And I am so excited today to be able to kick our sort of showcase time over to our friends at ClickView, which I've had the pleasure of working alongside for the last couple of months. We had an awesome time presenting together at ISTE just recently, and I'm really pleased that all the folks that we support in education here in the US are now going to have availability to this great tool. So Mike, Ann, I will turn it over to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And what a pleasure to be here. I'm loving the banter and just the energy in the session. It's been so good to watch as it's all unfolded. So just to introduce myself, my name is Mike Honiball. I'm the Managing Director of ClickView here in the States, joined by Ann Feldkamp. She's our Director of Customer Success. And as Stephanie mentioned, if you're here, means you're a Microsoft for Education user, and your district is getting the full ClickView platform absolutely free from now all the way through to the end of the coming academic year. So if you like what you see, we're really happy to chat with you after and get everything set up. So what I'm going to do now is just give you a quick tour of the platform. So I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see that? Is that coming through clearly?
We've got it, yep.
Awesome. Great. Well, look, the real top level breakdown of ClickView is ClickView is a curated video platform for teachers. So primarily we're in the K through 12 space, but we also do work with quite a few universities as well. Company's been around for 20 years, founded in Australia. We actually work with about 3/4 of all schools in the K through 12 space in Australia. And a decent chunk of schools in the UK. And this is our launch year in the States. So partnering with Microsoft to offer the platform free to all of your districts is something we're really excited about. Just a few other points as well. So many of your teachers in your districts will be familiar with ClickView already. So although we're launching the platform in the US this year, ClickView's been licensing content to the major video libraries in the K through 12 space in the US since about 2007. And it's also very popular content. It's often ranked every year in the top 3 most viewed video objects that are out there. So although we're launching the platform this year and have a great Teams integration, your teachers will probably know about ClickView, even if not through the platform. So what I wanted to do is just spend about 10 minutes giving you a really quick breakdown about how the platform works, give you a bit of a tour. I want to show you some of the content we have, but also some of the new functionality that the platform has to allow teachers to share video in ways they might not have previously been doing it. And I know that Stephanie has had a good explore of the platform and has, at ISTE, shared some really awesome ideas about how you can use ClickView even outside the classroom. So we're going to give you a quick tour. But look, at its core, what ClickView does is we're focused on increasing the engagement in the classroom through video. And we do that in 2 ways. Firstly, as I mentioned, ClickView is a major producer of K through 12 educational video content. So you'll see a lot of our titles out there across all of the other platforms. But we also license a lot of content from major producers. So in our library, you'll see a really strong mix of ClickView produced content and then also heavily curated content from other producers like the BBC, Smithsonian, Makematic, and a lot of the really high quality producers that are out there. So we have a library, of course, that teachers can access to integrate engaging video into their lessons. But the platform itself has a number of other features that allow teachers to not only find the video that they need for their blended classrooms, but also to use that video and control the way that students experience that video in a way that means they can be much more versatile when they're using video in the classroom. So instead of just sharing a video with students, what our platform does is it gives teachers the ability to overlay formative assessment so they can make sure that students are actually engaging with content. We can provide dashboarding so teachers can see when students are watching videos, what parts are they skipping through, which questions are they responding to, and we can aggregate all of that data as well so teachers can keep track of how students are going with their formative assessments when those videos are assigned. So what I want to do is just show you what the platform looks like. So when a teacher logs into ClickView, the first thing they're going to see is a presentation of content. So a presentation is basically an arrangement of the video objects that aligns with what they are interested in. So an elementary school teacher is going to see content that's K through 5. A science teacher can choose only to see the content that's relevant to her subject. So what we're looking at now is an elementary presentation of the ClickView platform. So when it comes to content, the first thing that teachers want to know is, how do I find a video that's going to help me get my class a bit more engaged tomorrow when I introduce the topic? So there's 2 ways you can do it. The first is very simple. You can just search for the content in the platform. So let's just say it's the first week back and a teacher wants to do a session on growth mindset or social emotional learning. So it's very easy to find content in ClickView. Let's just do a quick search. So the platform is set up such that it's heavily curated. So you're not going to have to sift through 200 videos of questionable relevance. Usually you'll come to the video title you need in just 1 or 2 clicks. So here we can just get straight to the video that's going to help introduce this topic to a 5th grade class. Another way that teachers can find content in the platform is using the topic search. So one of the things teachers can do whenever they're setting up their profile is basically identify which topics they're interested in, and those will be available for browsing whenever they open up the platform. So over here, this teacher can just browse through and find content on social emotional learning. They can filter by grade level, and they can also filter by a number of other things, such as the rating that's been applied to the video. And they can refine their search down until they get to the video that they need. And normally it's going to be just a couple of clicks, and then they're going to be there. Now, when it comes to sharing video on ClickView, one thing I should note is that when ClickView's platform was set up, it was really designed as a synchronous tool. So, it's designed with teachers using the video as part of a lesson, as opposed to it being a fully flipped tool. You can use it as a flipped learning tool, but we've really tried to set it up so that teachers will be able to easily integrate video into an existing lesson to make that lesson more engaging. So instead of just assigning the videos, it's really part of the lesson itself. So when it comes to sharing, I mean, it's very easy to do. Teachers can obviously just, blow the video up on a smartboard or a projector, turn on closed captioning, change the resolution if they like. They can also share very easily through Teams. We have an amazing Teams integration. So if you go to your Teams classroom and want to share a video that you've adopted in ClickView, you can access your entire library, your entire workspace, and you can also search for any video title through the Teams integration as well. So basically, a teacher never actually has to leave Teams using ClickView. It's all encapsulated within the platform. And likewise with students, I mean, they don't have to leave the Teams environment either. It's all fully contained within the LMS. Sharing can also be done just by sharing a link and just pasting that into a chat with your students. It's all single sign-on. So if students are signed into the LMS, they're signed into ClickView as well. Another thing I do want to just point out is that when we set up our video library, whether it's content that we produce or it's licensed content, we're really focused on not just providing video. We also want to build a context around that video. So teachers will find with all of the ClickView produced content, there are going to be ancillary resources that come with the video. So, in this case, we've got a video on growth mindset, which is a great fun entry point for a 5th grade student. But from the teacher's end, we also provide a whole range of expert produced content. So curriculum objectives, there are video objectives, and then a whole range of lesson plans with timed activities, the resources and the outcomes. So although there's a 6-minute video that is an entry point for this topic, the teacher actually gets about 4 or 5 hours worth of pedagogical content as well to really build a number of lessons around that video. We also provide a few other things too. So you'll often find posters and other classroom visuals that will accompany the video. So you've got an ongoing exposure to the topic as opposed to just being a one and done video that gets shared. Now, one of the features that we've been getting excellent feedback from US teachers on, as opposed to just the library itself, is the ability to use interactives with every video object that's in the ClickView library. And this includes library content that a teacher finds, but also any video the teacher uploads, because teachers can upload any video that they own. Districts can upload any sets of videos they own into the platform and get all of this functionality. So an interactive is the ability for a teacher to overlay formative assessment over any video that they come across. And what we do with every video that we produce and upload is our teacher experts will actually create differentiated formative assessment overlays that are ready to go. So sort of off-the-shelf interactive sets. But if you want to browse through these, if you're about to share a video with your class, you can actually go through and see what those formative assessment questions are and pick a question set that will work for your class. Or sometimes you want to pick different sets for different pods or differentiated groups in that class. You can preview the questions. If you don't have a one-to-one setup, you can just download them all as a worksheet and print that out. So that way students can do the formative assessments without needing to be using their device. Now, what this looks like from a student's perspective when you share an interactive video is the students will see the video normally, but there's going to be an overlay, which is signaled by this series of bars at the bottom, where questions are going to pop up that will encourage them to interact with the video a little bit more. So you'll have questions like this one, which should be an open-ended response where the students will list a few things that they're seeing, but also you'll find other sorts of interactive questions that'll pop up. So you'll have Q&A, true or false type questions, multiple choice questions. Students will answer them and get immediate feedback as they move through the object. So the idea is that as students are working through these formative assessments, it's really keeping them engaged with the content instead of being a passive viewing of a video. Now, another thing I do just want to show you is whether you find a video in the library that you like and you want to share as is, or whether you find an interactive video set that you want to share, teachers can also make their own versions. So in this instance, if you want to make a formative assessment set from scratch, you can just click Create Interactive, and the teacher can just control where in that video you want the interactive or formative assessment questions to come up, and they can make their own questions, set the answers, and you've got multiple options. So, short answer questions. Some teachers will just use an annotation right at the beginning of the video to get the students thinking about something that they want them to observe later on. You can also use images, upload those and add a caption. So the students are watching the video, but thinking about the learning objective that the teacher has set up. And I should just note that you can do this with any video. It doesn't have to be a ClickView video or a licensed one. Teachers can upload their own lesson and add all of these formative assessment overlays to it. Now, once you have picked an interactive or picked a video, teachers can save those videos or interactives to their own workspace, which is basically a private library that every teacher has where they can either upload their own content. And at the moment, we don't have a limit. You can keep uploading all of the content you want to the workspace, or you can just curate content you found around the platform and save it here. So this is an example of where a teacher might have uploaded some content that can later be shared either with students or with the entire district or some colleagues. But any interactive video that you saved is going to appear in this workspace as well. Now, one of the features that I love about ClickView and the interactives is you're not just setting students a video to watch and complete some formative assessment questions and hoping that they do it. There's actually dashboarding that's been set up for teachers, which allow them to see what's actually happening behind the scenes when students are being assigned these videos. So what you'll see in this dashboard is an aggregation of data that's been collected from a formative assessment set that was assigned to a pod of students. In this case, it was 5 students in a classroom. And you can see statistics like the number of students who attempted those questions, the average number of attempts per student. But you can also break it down and see, based on the questions that were set, how the students go. Where there's some questions that they found really easy, others that they were struggling with. And this data can be used to inform the conversations or the lesson that happens the next day. But you can also see a few other insights like the time of day that students are completing the interactives and watching those videos. So you can see if they're doing it 5 minutes before class or at 2 a.m. In the middle of the night. There's a lot of insights you can draw from that. And if there are questions that have been assigned in those formative assessments that are open-ended or free text response, it's very easy for a teacher to just go through and grade and save those responses. So I wanted to show you one other feature, which is very useful when it comes to the accountability piece with assigning students videos. So what you can do with the dashboarding is you can actually see individual student completion rates and engagement with any video that you assign them. So if you've got a student who's consistently getting questions wrong, they're not prepared when they come the next day to class, or they're not understanding something, you can just jump into that student's dashboard and see how much of the video that I assigned them last night did they actually watch. So where it's dark, that's where students are skipping ahead. Where it's orange, that's where they're watching. There's usually a pretty strong correlation with dark areas and red bars where they get the question wrong. But students work out pretty quickly that when you assign them a video, they do have to be accountable because they can't just skip through it and then hope that they get the questions right. They do need to actually engage with the content. And you can see all of their individual responses here as well. So that's what the interactive or formative assessment piece looks like from a teacher's perspective. all of the results that the students will produce can be exported to a CSV. By September, our dev team is working on making sure this is fully integrated with the Teams gradebook. So there's going to be longitudinal data that you'll find within Teams where you can just see exactly how the students are going with a series of formative assessments rather than looking at them individually. But of course, you can export everything and just add it to an ongoing CSV if you want to do some coaching with some of your teachers as well. Now, that's what the interactive and sort of formative assessment piece looks like. Just so you know, some district level features as well. So what a lot of districts will do is actually upload all of their district owned or user generated content into the library and make it discoverable. So if you have an amazing set of videos that were produced during lockdown, you've got some really awesome demos that teachers did from their homes that you think, this is awesome, I want other teachers in the district to benefit, you can add all of this to ClickView. So we'll host all of that for you. And it can be searchable, it can be turned into interactives if teachers want to make those formative assessments with those videos. So the district really has control over all the different libraries that are available. And one thing that I do just want to mention, and Stephanie did a really good demo of this actually during ISTE, is you can use ClickView not just for the classroom, but you can actually use it for PD as well. So what a lot of teachers will do and a lot of schools will do is they will record their PD sessions, they'll upload those into the ClickView library and actually have a PD space where teachers can go and watch all of the PD sessions that are recorded. The academic coaches can add those question overlays so you can make sure that teachers are engaging with the content, and it becomes a great best practice sharing resource as well. Just adding to that, I will mention that in addition to the student-facing content, there's also a lot of PD content that exists in the library. So there are teacher resources here about blended learning, creating engaging video content for your students. So there's a whole repository of resources specifically for teachers to help them get a bit more proficient when it comes to blended learning, in addition to all the content that we provide for the students. So that is a tour of the ClickView platform. I know we're coming up to the sort of 10-minute Q&A mark. So what I wanted to do was just throw it over to all of you and just ask if there are any questions about, firstly, the content and the platform or the features. And also, if you want to hear a bit more about how we can get this set up at your district, integrations and so on, we're all ears. So please let me know if there are any questions.
Great. While we're waiting for folks to jump in, I'll just say a couple of things that I think were really compelling. First is what Mike just talked about, being able to use your own content in-house and be able to make that interactive and create segmented libraries is something that any institution would find value in. But I wonder, Mike, if you could pop over to your teams and just show what it looks like, just simply within, you know, your ability to do this, even within a chat. So I had a group chat with a few other folks here at Microsoft going on, and I was able to take a recording that I had from Stream and pull it in here. I messed around with just making it interactive and put a few things in there before I uploaded it, and it just goes right here into the general either posts in a channel or in a team or in a group chat that you have going on in Teams. So it's a really easy integration. It's as easy as just, yeah, being able to format any other post that you would put in. So.
Yeah, it's all so obviously you can go straight from your workspace and find any videos or interactive videos that you've created, and those can get shared directly in Teams. So the one that I was just showing you, you know, with butterflies and caterpillars, and it was obviously we were looking at the dashboard, to share that with another group of students in Teams. It's very easy to do. You can just paste it like that, and there you go. It's being shared with that team. But also you can browse through the integration too. So it doesn't just have to be a place to use your workspace. You know, you can go through the entire library and browse for content that way. And so again, you don't really have to leave Teams. It's all contained within the one environment.
I'll say too, you know, the social emotional learning piece is such a huge focus for folks right now. To have content deliverable really quickly for free for a year is a big win. So you might be a jukebox hero if you take this back to your team, because it's a solution that folks are looking for. And I see a couple, actually, Anthony's got a question here. So is the PD more teacher driven, or are there support staff targeted content as well?
Oh, okay.
So,
Yes. So,
yeah. So you're
if
meaning
I
more
can-
for like parapros, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, that kind of thing, Anthony? I assume so. Yes.
yeah.
Or tech staff. Okay.
Yeah, so Anthony, the answer is both. So we're really set up so we can provide three different types of support. So firstly, we can of course work directly with your teachers to make sure that they have support when it comes to using the platform. And you know, if there's a lot going on in the district and you've got a group of 10 teachers that just need some help right now, we'll go on a call with them and we'll show them how to use it. You know, we don't have to wait for a dedicated PD slot within the district's calendar. But in addition to that, I mean, we'll provide ongoing tech support as well. You know, if anyone needs, help with SSO or any other tech related queries, you know, we can do sessions that are devoted to that. And also train the trainer. If you want us to just teach all of your coaches how to use the platform, so you've got resident experts, we can do that too.
And Mike, if you don't mind, I'll just jump in here as well and highlight an amazing series that ClickView is offering. It's referred to as the TOM series. It stands for Teaching Online Masterclass, developed really in response to all of the different experiences that educators have gone through in the past year. It's just been produced in the last 6 months. Topics such as creating inclusive online environments, in creating engagement with online environments. So, I mean, so many topics that are very front of mind as we look at online learning that can also be then translated into our in-person teaching as well. But it's a really amazing series. So a lot of very current professional development topics that are covered in addition to the support that we provide.
What I'm going to do now is just paste in the chat a link to our team's integration page. So if you are interested in signing your district up, I mean, you know, we'll obviously want to meet with you and just get everything sorted in terms of SSO and making sure it seamlessly gets switched on. You can reach out to us through that link. There's a form there you can fill out, and we'll give you a call and get everything set up. Otherwise, yeah, if you can just reach out to us directly, I'm just going to pop my email in the chat as well. Just shoot me a message and we can get something set up for you that way as well.
So I'm just going to revisit really quickly Anthony's question. So he, I think, was speaking in reference to what's already provided for PD content on side platform, whether it was just teacher focused for instructional practices in PD or whether it was kind of inclusive. So I think the best case scenario in that situation was to take all those trainings that you're leveraging if you don't have a place where they're living right now, so that folks can kind of gather analytics about what's successful, how long things are taking, some formative feedback around it that you could slap it in here, make it interactive, and keep it moving forward. So, but again, yeah, just to reiterate, and Heather called it out in the chat, this is free for all current Teams users for the full length of this upcoming academic year, content included. So it's not just the tool that's free, but everything inside of the ClickView platform, which again is why we thought it would be so valuable to bring to you now ahead of the school year, the academic term starting. Teaching is hard on a good year and on good terms, and we know that, and this has been even more challenging than normal, and we want to be able to set people up for really good, successful back to school, and this is a great way to do that.
And we know that our audience, you guys are typically an IT crowd, which we love. But feel free to pass this along to those in your community that are on the academic side, because it may be something that they're interested in. You know, maybe IT wise, it's not, you're like, okay, you know, that's great tool. But I don't know if this is what we're going to need. Share the information, and you know, Mike has dropped his contact information in there for you, so it's very possible that they're going to use it like he said at the beginning. Yes, K-12 heavy, but universities are using it as well. I would be willing to bet that a lot of that high school content can then be used in the college setting. You know, so make sure to just pass that along for your peers, because I'm sure that it's something that they would appreciate. Because as a former educator, and I know Stephanie feels this pain, free is probably our favorite word. And so when I hear that, I'm definitely ready to listen to people. Plus, I'll be the dumb American and say, Mike, I could listen to you talk all day. So, you know what?
I knew Heather would be lured in by the accent.
I'm happy to say that.
But I think too that it's one of those situations where they're going to find tools and solutions out in the Wild West of options. This is one that we know in partnership with Microsoft and Teams is one that we can stand behind, working well, integrating, being secure. And so that's why we're pushing this one forward to you all today. But we have reached the end. Yes, free for higher ed to anyone who's a Teams customer, Diana. So we've reached the end of our first back to the season office hours session. I just want to give a big shout out to Garrett and Victoria, who's also been here for a while now, but Garrett, first time in the co-host seat, did an awesome job. Thank you. Mike, yeah, if you want to follow up with him or Ann about anything ClickView related, their contact information is there in the chat, or you can reach out to us. And we have a really cool session coming up next week as well, Heather, for preview.
Yeah, so we are very excited. As I said at the beginning of the call, we are going to make sure that what we are doing is really supporting your asks and your needs. And one of those things is really staying current with our, what's new with Microsoft and specific questions. So we will start featuring once a month a what's new with Microsoft EDU, an academic and an IT session. So it'll be both. And so we will have some academic stuff coming up with our dear friend Andrea, who was on the call at the beginning. And then we will have some friends from our IT team that will go over some of the things that we learned about with Microsoft Inspire in case you didn't attend. So please join us again next week. As always, this is recorded. It will find its way to our YouTube channel and we will share that with you. And so again, just thank you so much. Thank you, ClickView team. It was wonderful to see you. I'm going to go ahead. I'll stop our recording and